there in the internet. Welcome to the Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie Podcast. Say hello, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, you said hello. Hello, Dave.
Oh, God. This is the Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie Podcast. Welcome back to all of our friends near and far. 4 corners of the world. We're up over 600 people on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. This is Unorthodox Wisdom from Unexpected Reality. Dave, what does that mean?
Yes, family, he's still calling me Dave. Sure, as soon as we figure it out. And that's a little bit of the point, isn't it? Our podcast seeks to discuss all aspects of entrepreneurship, business, and the arts, and how those two come together in a fun kind of way. We seek to talk to entrepreneurs of all kinds who are looking to grow and make a move, start something, get better, improve their hustle. And we hope to share our experiences that come off as nuggets of wisdom, hopefully, and speak to our new reality that is a duality of our current reality.
Yeah, wow. Clever, right?
I mean, we are the podcast of alliteration. I think that's maybe the tagline we should go with here now.
The podcast of the persistent
precipitation, predistitation. I don't know. We're making up words now.
You are so true, and I hope that our audience enjoys our little bits of wisdom and the guests that we have on so far. We're getting just some great notes and little messages from people all over the place, and we really, really, truly appreciate it. If you do like it, make sure that you go to our YouTube page and follow us. Subscribe, I should say. Follow on Facebook. Go to Podbean. Go to Spotify. Go to Apple iTunes and listen to our podcast, because this is our video portion. We also have just the audio portion on all those other platforms. So if you like us, follow us, and we'll keep doing it. And hopefully we'll all learn something in the process and have a good time. How's that, grab you? That's
awesome. And yes, to all those that are watching our podcast, I forgot to turn my light on. So now you can see me. Hey, how you doing? All right. We want to thank Side Hustle for their use of their song, the little snippet. We've entered a new song in there called Common Ground, and I feel it is a great reflection of the time that we're in right now. So check that out at sidehustletheband.com. Weekly update. Okay, I just have to say, and this is tied into my Stringer strategy session shortly. I love it. I'm tired, man. I mean, we have been flat out, just absolutely flat out. And I know, that's kind of the difference between you and me right now, just the pace of things, but I am freaking tired.
That's awesome. I mean, it's great. It's great that, that certainly your business is moving and shaking. All of your businesses are. And I think that what people are going to have to deal with a lot as these things reopen is the fact that, we got the crap kicked out of us for 3 months, emotionally, but physically, it's kind of funny that having the COVID-19, which I did, sort of is the thing that affected me least, which is weird.
That is weird.
It's, all of the other things. It's the psychological, the emotional, the not knowing. It's, I don't blame you. I feel the same way. I really do.
I think we're in fatigue. I think with everything that's going on, and there's been a lot going on, and we acknowledge that there's a ton of things that have happened out there, and this isn't the place where we want to get into those things, and we just want to acknowledge that those things are happening, good progress in all areas, and it's exhausting. What's happening right now is absolute. I feel like we're on a roll. Today, the Dow was up, started up, and whammo.
Yeah,
we lost like 1,800 points. We just checked it right before we started the recording.
Tomorrow it'll go up 1,100 for no apparent reason.
Right. That's after ascending for no apparent reason. So I look at those things as like, I feel, hey, if all the smarties on Wall Street think that things are going good and all of a sudden the Dow rockets up, I think, okay, I feel better about that. I mean, I'm not participating much. I mean, my 401k is, but when it rockets down and they're like, oh, investors are freaked out because maybe we're headed for the second wave. It's like, oh, fudge, here we go again. So
yeah, I think like everybody, they're kind of playing it, a little fast and loose, but we'll see. Every day, man, every day, get up and do it, and then go to bed and get up and do it again.
Yeah. So, all right. So tell us a Stocke story. And let me give you your banner.
There we go. Stocke story today goes back to the summer of 2003, because what I asked for a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, I would like 10 years of boredom. I would like a decade of boredom. Just like nothing happens and just everyone's like, whole world's just kind of boring. But living in New York City, that's completely impossible. So after 9/11, everybody was just hoping for, just good Lord, just have nothing else happen. And in the summer of 2003, a transformer blew up in Buffalo, and like so much of the upper East Coast lost power, including all of New York City. It was quite something. It also happened in August, and it was also about 97 degrees that day, so nobody had air conditioning. It also happened that the next day, I got the flu in the summer. I got a summer flu. Good times.
Weird.
So I was also rehearsing a musical called The Boy from Oz with Hugh Jackman making his Broadway debut, and the aforementioned, for anyone who follows our podcast, Pam, my dear sweet ex Pam, who was in the cast. So what happened that morning was I got up, I had the flu. I called my stage manager and I said, I'm not coming into rehearsal today. And they're like, that's okay, stay away. But can you go to a costume fitting? Yes. And the thing was, it was about 95 degrees that day, and I had on a hoodie and jeans and a cap. I was just shivering. And so I went down to Lower Broadway, about 50 blocks away, to the costumer. I went in, and like they wanted to deal with somebody who had the flu, but they had to because we have a schedule and it's big money. So I do my fitting, and I'm just miserable. I leave there. I'm walking up Broadway to 23rd Street and Broadway. On 21st Street and Broadway is the back entrance to the N train that brings you back up to Midtown. I go down there. I realize that that I'm like shoving around for my Metro card, and as I get to the gate, the train is coming in, and I'm like, son of a! I just want to go home. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I get there, and it won't. I can't swipe it. I'm just like, oh God. Train is pulling out, and I'm like, son of a... I finally get through the turnstile, and the train's pulling out of the thing. So I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so miserable. 10 seconds later, power goes out. And I'm like looking around, lights are flickering. Of course, 2 years after 9/11, we're just like, what is happening? But also I'm miserable. I have the flu. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on? And then I hear people up at the top of the stairs just like, why is all the power out? And I'm just like, well, okay.
And the train would stop, right? To those Southerners who are not.
The red lights of the train about 100 yards into the tunnel stopped. I go back out the turnstile, and I'm like, I'm not messing with this. I'm walking home. I'm going to walk 30 blocks up and 6 blocks over back to my apartment. Don't care. I'm not dealing with this. Had I swiped and gotten through, I would have been in the last car of that train. And Lord knows how long they were stopped there, because the horror stories of the blackout, where people were stuck on trains for hours and hours and hours.
Oh my gosh!
Weren't allowed to get out, and some people wigged and started kicking windows out and like jumped out of trains, and it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah,
sitting on a train with flu, like shivering, sweating, all that stuff for God knows how long, and it was because I was just so like discombobulated that I couldn't swipe my Metro card. I was just like, I need to get on that train. And I walked all the way home because nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew what it was at that time.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Did we just get attacked or whatever? And it turns out, somebody kicked a wire out or something along those lines. But I made it home. I laid on my floor and just kind of like sweated, and it was just miserable. But I came this close to probably having the most miserable experience of my life. And I was just, I could not.
I can't imagine. Have you ever been stuck in an elevator like that? I mean,
I've been stuck in an elevator once, and I'm kind of claustrophobic to begin with.
Yeah.
And so that's not a good time, especially in a city of nothing but elevators.
Right.
But no, and I've never been sick while doing it, but I was thinking about that. And I was like, I can't imagine being on a subway car in August with just packed full of people and just like with 102 temperature. It would have been, oh God, I escaped that one. So just looking for some boredom. That's all I'm looking for.
I think it's great because that story actually connects to our guest a little bit later, who's going to come on and talk about her development of her music venue. And she, in her bio, she talks about a blessing in disguise. And that, my friend, the Metro card not working was a blessing in disguise.
My friends took me up on my roof of my building, a 5th floor building on 46th and 9th Avenue. They laid out a bunch of towels for me. I had on a pair of gym shorts and a tank top, and everybody started partying in New York. So as it got dark, everybody went, and they went to the bars because the bars were giving out all their product.
Yeah.
And I laid up on the roof. They brought up a transistor radio, like an old boom box, and the Yankees were playing in Baltimore, which had not gotten affected by the thing. They brought up all the food that was going to go bad in the refrigerator, put it next to me, gave me a bottle of water this big. I listened to the baseball game, laid on the roof, and fell asleep, and they all went out and had beers. It was great.
That's
It
hysterical.
was a great New York story.
Amazing. Well, I loved it. Blessing in disguise, Stocke story. That's amazing. So we're going to switch now to our stringer strategy session.
More
and connected to what I was saying earlier, I am exhausted, and I keep threatening we're going to have a show entirely developed to entrepreneurial energy, and we are. I promise. There's a person I want to bring on to interview about that, and we haven't connected yet to set it, and we will. But let's talk a little bit about energy, particularly the end of energy, which is burnout, which I feel I entered burnout about end of last week. So our situation down here was very different, as we've talked about a number of times. There was no slowing down for our company and our business. We just plowed through, and all these other things that I was working on also came to a halt. So I was very focused on just Insignia and what Insignia was doing, right? And so it was somewhat manageable from an energy standpoint. And then all of a sudden things start picking up again. The business picks up again. And then about 2 weeks ago, all of those other projects I had working in the background before COVID, all of a sudden hit all at once.
Yeah.
All of them went go. And so all of a sudden my plate was covered up. I didn't know which end was up. I was managing it, I thought, pretty well, but something happened end of last week where I just hit a wall.
Yeah.
And this is a typical cycle. I've had this happen many times in the past where you just hit a wall. And this is a normal thing, I think, for for an actor and for an entrepreneur and anybody who's really trying to make it happen. So burnout happens, and I'm an English major, so when I start doing math, you should be suspect. But here's my math equation for burnout. It is tasks times pressure times divided by, times money, right? So task times pressure times money divided by time. That is my formula when you have so much. He's calculating. We need to develop an app for that.
7. The answer is 7.
Right, exactly. So burnout is also as much physical as it is mental. And so what I mean by that equation is there's so many things to do piled onto the pressure that you have. And I think a multiplier is also the money that's at stake, right? I mean, if it wasn't that big a deal, it wouldn't be worth that much money. And that's not such okay, well, I lost or I didn't get that done. But when there's money involved and the money keeps going up, well, hey, and then divided by the amount of time that you have, right? So that's what I mean by that whole equation. So what are some of the root causes that I've come up with over the years of burnout? Well, it is lack or slack in organization, right? So that's a major one. And we're going to come back to that one. Not saying no. No is the most important word to an entrepreneur sometimes. Objective prioritization. This one I love because I am sure we can all think of times where we've noticed someone who is totally covered up by the immense tasks that they have to do, the pressure they're under, and they start focusing in on the dumbest priorities. Well, today I need to redo my CD collection. It's like, no, you need to get over here to this task to make sure it's done. Anyway, so prioritization, an objective prioritization of tasks. Unrealistic timelines, which you only have you to blame for that.
True.
And then trying to do it all yourself, not delegating, right? So those to me are the major contributors to burnout, and ultimately mentally and physically. So so here's my stringer strategy session. How do we handle burnout? How do we manage it? Because it's impossible to go, burn out, crash, right? Go, burn out, crash. Somehow you have to stay afloat. You have to be able to manage that burn rate, and you can't crash. Otherwise, if you crash, bad things happen. So ways to slow the burnout. Obviously, it's a converse of everything I just said. Organization, right? That's number one. Organization. Schedule. Put things on a calendar. Figure out. I've had so many iterations of organization over the years to help me organize tasks, time, things to think about, things to read, that kind of stuff. And it's always changing. So whatever your organization thing is now, it probably fast forward a year from now will not be your organizational structure a year from now. So you have to be flexible in your organization structure in order to really get something that works for you in the moment, because it's going to change, especially as an entrepreneur. Delegate. We're going to talk to, again, a little later, Cara talks about delegation, how tough that is for her. And so, it's important that we learn to delegate to people that can help us achieve our goals. This one I like. Take a mental break day. And what's involved in a mental break day? Turn off your freaking phone. Leave social media alone. Find ways to create space for yourself, and don't expend energy. I feel like it's sort of like a solar power type thing where you soak up things that give you energy, and then you expend that energy doing things. And so if you're constantly expending and not soaking up energy, you got nothing left. You're going to burn out. One little technique that I have that I discovered several years ago, and I tell everybody, any entrepreneur, I tell them, silence your freaking phone. Turn off all ringers, turn off all alerts, turn off all notifications, right? Because you structure your day to check in with various things. Yeah. Do I have any emails? Let's take a look. It is scientifically proven that we get a little jolt when we get a notification, a ding, and we look at an email, right? And so we become like little Pavlov's dogs, like, well, that's energy. That's just sucking you dry. Every time that little ding, 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 it's just sucking the life out of you. So turn them all off. Turn all that shit off. You don't need it. All right. And then ways to recover from burnout. I have found, for me, sleep is number one. I love to sleep. I can sleep very well. So sleep. Mental naps. And what I mean by mental naps is, again, cut off the emails, get away from it, step away from it. Take a walk around the block. Take a walk. Yeah, perfect. And leave your phone. Somebody can leave you a voicemail. Whatever happened to voicemails? We don't feel comfortable leaving voicemails anymore. We have to send an immediate text. Right? So, and disconnect from social media. Take a break, especially right now. Give yourself time to take a break. And I'm victim of it. Look, we talk about staying above the battlefield. I am in the thick of it, right? And we've got to remember that we've got to find a way to prioritize our energy too. Do I really need to argue with this guy about this situation on Facebook? I really don't. It's sucking me dry right now. So, and then the most important thing for an entrepreneur, the most important thing for an entrepreneur to regain energy and to build energy is to talk to a loved one or a close friend.
Very much so.
Have them be your sounding board. Let them know what's going on, and then share back and forth and talk to each other. That to me is the way. And I love, coming home, spending time with Michelle and just like, hey, how's your day? Here's what I've been doing. And it provides me a boost of energy when I get home. And so I highly, highly recommend find a friend.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love all that. And the thing is, I try to do the same thing, being a sole proprietor of my other businesses. I have, double the problems with making sure that I stick to my own schedule, because nobody's holding my feet to the fire.
Right.
I have to hold my own feet to the fire.
Right.
And sometimes it's, there's a bumblebee. It's like, oh my God, it's not going to get done if you don't do it. You understand that?
Right.
So, and it's even a matter of, you can delegate to yourself. You can say,
yes.
You can say, you know what, you get this done between 4 and 5:30 this evening.
Yes.
Give yourself a task. Delegate. Say, not right now. You're doing other things right now, but between 4 and 5:30 this evening, you got to get this done. That delegates. Look, I have a whiteboard. I write things down. I say, right, shit. Between 4 and 5:30, I have to do this.
Yes.
But in the meantime, maybe if I got 45 minutes, I'm going to run and get a nice coffee. I'm going to walk around the block. Talk to my brother. Whatever. And it's very, very important. And right now, it's 10 times more important. And I've told myself 8 times during this pandemic that I'm not going to go on Facebook. And I've stepped away from different things and just said, oh my God. But I do believe there are some good things about it. I enjoy doing my rooftop check-ins every night at 7.
Those are lovely.
I think that brings people a little bit of joy, and it's just a time to breathe. It's exactly what you're talking about. Just a time to go, oh my God, there's a great big sky up there. And actually the world is a beautiful place. There's some really crappy people in some places. The world is beautiful, and more beautiful now since we haven't screwed it all up in the last 3 months. But you also have to be very selective, and I'm just like, I've been treating Facebook with kid gloves in the last week about not engaging the people who just want to get a rise. There's a lot of actual real issues going on right now, and discussions that should be had. There's no doubt about it. And a lot of great progress being made in a lot of ways. But some people just want to poke the bear. No, screw it. Stay above it.
And it's one of those things for us as entrepreneurs that we think, we've said this before several times on the show, we think we can solve the problem if everybody would just listen. Right? So let's dive in and I'll tell you what to think, and you're wasting time and energy and forget about it, just step away from it, focus on what you need to do to make sure you're successful. All right. So
well done, David. Notice I said David to all the Stringer family et al. Well said, David.
And of course, we joke internally here with Michelle and I about how I thought you were going to react to that and say, David, like Schitt's Creek. David, what?
What are you doing? Oh my God.
All right, perfect time to give a shout out to our sponsor, Knowledge Perk Coffee. This company is awesome. They are sponsoring Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie, a podcast. Go on their website, knowledgeperk.com. You see it there on the screen. You can get on their subscription list. You can purchase K-Cups. You can purchase whole bean and ground coffee delivered straight to you. This, I took a screenshot. This is a terrible graphic, by the way. Yours truly. It's really their website with the community care card. I wanted to mention this. This is such a neat thing that they started right as things were happening with the virus and first responders. You could, and I believe you can purchase these online. You can purchase a community care card. And what that does is that gives a first responder, teacher, and an essential worker at this point in time, mostly the first responders and teachers, they would be able to come in and have a free cup of coffee or a free pound of coffee. And you literally were purchasing it for them, which was such a creative idea to help out first responders and as well as teachers during this time and even forward. I don't think they're getting rid of this community card. So it's kind of a great indication of how they really care about their community and really reinvest in their community. So check them out. Go to knowledgeperk.com. And thank you very much for your sponsorship. We're going to take just a quick little break and be right back with Cara English from Blue Jay Listening Room. And we are back. It's like we never left.
It is.
We are joined by Cara English, the founder and owner of the Blue Jay Listening Room in Jacksonville, Florida. Cara, welcome to the show. You are a graduate of FSU, Go Noles.
Yep.
Studio art, studio history at FSU. You have a background in entrepreneurship, so that nails one of my questions was, you consider yourself an entrepreneur? Check, yes.
Yes.
So as she owned and operated a retail store with her mom until she opened the Blue Jay. In her spare time, her hobbies are sitting on the porch listening to music. That makes sense. Going to the beach. You live in Florida at Jacksonville. Makes sense. Skateboarding. That's what I want to talk about. Loving on her dog, Mason. So, Cara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Excellent. So tell us, first off, what's a listening room? I think that's a cool way to talk about a music venue, but what's that mean?
So that's my favorite question. A listening room, and I tell everyone every night just to remind them in case they forget. When we're at Blue Jay, a listening room is just a space for you to come and we ask that everyone silences their cell phones, and it's for it's, in my opinion, the best way to listen to music. We have artists come in every night and share their stories and their inspirations, and to a room full of people that are actually listening. I always kind of compare it. I was obsessed with MTV Unplugged back in the day.
Yes.
And it's MTV Unplugged with booze.
Perfect. Best combination.
Yeah, really, it's great.
So when you say it's a listening room, I mean, are your audience standing, sitting? Is it more of that kind of, hey, go grab a drink, come down, come and sit and you're listening? Or is it you can still stand up and you've got crowds kind of crowding around? I mean, I guess paint a visual picture for me.
So Blue Jay is primarily seated. I have 74 seats. I sell 70 seated tickets, and then I sell 10 standing room tickets. Our seating is all first come, first served. So you just come in and pick a seat, and obviously things are going to be a little different when we reopen here in a few weeks. I haven't quite nailed that down yet, but it's still going to be, first come, first served. We have all kinds of really pretty couches and chairs, and it's just a really comfortable environment. It's not hard. It's not like, folding chairs and whatever. Like it's basically like you're in a really pretty living room.
Nice. And then do you expect your artists are playing acoustic, or are they full band, combination of both?
It's a combo. I typically lean towards the acoustic side of things, just because the room is, I don't like to use the word small, because I feel like that can kind of have a negative connotation when you're talking about a room for, events and music, but it's intimate. And so sometimes full bands can be a little much, but sometimes they're perfect. And it's kind of situational.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So take us.
I want to interrupt for just a second.
Please.
I want to go back to something you said in the previous dialogue when you said it's first come, first served. I absolutely love you for saying that, because it's been a pet peeve for years and years and years when people say first come, first serve.
I know. Mine too.
Nice.
That means you're the first one in the door. You got to start serving people.
Exactly. Exactly. I appreciate you.
Those things make my heart so happy. She was like, first come, first served. I was like, yes!
Grammar, baby. Grammar.
Oh, nice. I learned something. I've always heard it the wrong way.
First come, first serve.
And I will say it correctly from here on out. That's fantastic.
My 2 cents. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was super impactful. Thank you.
I know.
Educational experience.
That's yes.
Mhm.
So Cara, take us through the last 12 weeks of craziness, and maybe there's not much to talk about, but I'm sure that this has given you, I don't know, maybe some new perspectives on your business. Where are you right now? You just said you're going to open in a couple of weeks, so you do have a timetable.
We
I guess
do
work us backwards.
do what?
I guess I was just trying to say work us backwards from
Right.
okay, it's open, sort of.
So yeah, our last show was March 14th. And I think I had to cancel something like, I don't know, 70 something or 80 something shows, or I don't know. It was a large number. And the past few months has just been, it's been weird. And I know it has been for everyone. But since I opened Blue Jay, I have done nothing else. And so when I was writing my bio earlier and I'm like, what do I do? Like I have had to revisit, like hobbies and, that kind of thing. Because I have had a work life balance has been a little bit of a challenge for me personally. So not going to Blue Jay every night and not having a show and not doing my thing has been, this has been a hell of a time for a lot of self-reflection. So, we've just been, our doors have been shut. I was doing some live streams. I did a live stream series called Songs from Another Room. And we were doing it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And that was, kind of just to keep a little bit of momentum going, help us out, help the artists out. And so that gave me a little bit more of a purpose. I still had to even though I just logged on and commented, I still had something to do. And that was
well, you also had to coordinate all of that and be there, and you run everything. How would you judge the success of doing those streams? I mean, was it good? Was it I wouldn't do it again kind of thing?
I would say at first it was really successful. And I was splitting the money, the donations down the middle with, whichever band or artist was that night. And I think everybody was really on board with it in the beginning, and it kind of fizzled over time, which is completely understandable. I mean, the internet was just completely, inundated. Everyone was doing 50 live streams, a day. Right. So, at first, I think it was really good, and then it just kind of fell off a little bit. I think if I could change it, I may not have done it as often as I did. Perhaps just space them out a little bit more. But really having to navigate all of this we've never done anything like this. We as a collective of human beings. I mean, this has been we've all had to learn, and I certainly didn't plan for any of this. So, I've just kind of been one foot in front of the other, one day at a time kind of thing. And we just found out that phase 2, when bars can open, was what's today? I don't even know.
It's a Wednesday.
I don't know. Last Friday was when bars could open. So I didn't want to rush into it. I want to make sure that everything's done correctly. I want to make sure that it was kind of a well-oiled wheel before, we could do, what we do and do it well and easily. And now, we're having to rework everything. So I wanted to just make sure that we were all as I'm talking about my staff, that we're all on the same page and doing everything correctly. And we're actually going to be opening on the 22nd. We just decided that yesterday. So I'm excited and I'm nervous.
Yeah.
So
now they set the capacity, because I did make some notes about your appearance on the Bottom of the Bill podcast with Anton and Billy. So bringing in some of those notes from that, you were talking about capacity in that show. Have they set capacity in Florida? Do you have a number?
Yes, we can be at 50% capacity. So that is, for me, 50 people.
Yeah.
I think that being a smaller venue, a more intimate venue is going to be beneficial. And that I think that people are going to be a little more willing to go to a smaller space as opposed to, be one of 3,000 people. If you're one of 50 or, 100, I think that is a little bit more inviting in these times. However, the 50% thing is, it's 50 people. It's not that many people.
Right.
I'll be raising some prices. Tickets will be a little bit more expensive. And I was actually looking, do you know the Funky Biscuit in Boca?
Yeah. Yes.
Funky Biscuit put out like a statement, and it was far more eloquent than I'm about to say, but it was basically like, we're raising our prices, deal with it.
Yeah. You are now getting exclusive content that you can't get sitting at home.
Exactly.
Or on the internet. So
exactly. As intimate as this was, whenever we had a sellout and you're one of 80, you are now one of 50. Like, it's even more special. So I'm hoping, I don't know. I'm hoping that people just hope there's a line out the door. We'll see.
So how many people do you have that work for you at the venue?
There's like 2 sound people, 3 bartenders. So 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Okay. And then did you go for any of the CARES Act or anything? Are those folks like full-time people or contractors? Were you able to help them through that?
Both. So yes and no. Because I have some contractors and some employees, and so a lot of the donations that I got from the Songs from Another Room, the live streams, went to them, and I've just been trying to kind of help out where I can, and luckily, 2, 3 of them have, I don't want to say real jobs. Blue Jay's a real job, day jobs.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
And so there was I have one girl who's a full-time bartender, and so she was struggling, but luckily, other than her, everybody else had money.
That's great. So then, kind of take us through your model for how are you going to determine those ticket prices? I mean, is it going to be just a simple factor of, okay, costs, margin divided by 50?
Yeah, I honestly,
I'm talking to an English major, so if you start talking numbers, I'm going to have to get my spreadsheet out.
I already am like, math numbers are the worst shapes. I don't know. I can't. I'm horrible with numbers. I think what I'm going to do, because I don't want to pay bands on the same price at 50 tickets. I mean, that's not fair. Like, I still want this to be worth it for everyone. I want it to be worth it for us. I want the band to not have to lose just because of this, lose more. God bless them. So I'm hoping, I think I'm probably just going to maybe do like a $5-10 ticket increase for a little while and just see how it goes. It's kind of, I haven't posted any. This whole thing was so weird because you have to post tickets and far in advance. So then they tell us we can open on Friday. I don't want to wait a month to sell tickets. So I'm having to just kind of rework, how I do everything. And there's no telling. I'm thinking, words are hard for me today. I'm thinking that people are going to show up and we're going to sell more tickets at the door, whereas before we would have pre-sold a bunch of tickets. So I think at least for a little while, I'm just going to have to feel it out and see how this goes. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing.
I can't see any way that wouldn't happen. I mean, it's I know that other places in the country have opened considerably more than New York City. But if there was a place that was allowed to open, say one of the great venues down in the Village or something, and said, look, we're only allowing in 20 people and we're charging you $80 a night instead of $40 a night,
people would do it.
100%. You would have to do, they'd have to do it 5 times a week easily. And the bands, I think by the same token would, say, okay, we'll take 75% of what you were paying us before just to get back out there. I feel like unless you're Major League Baseball, you need to get your head out of your ass and make some concessions. I mean, those people are showing themselves to be the fools they are right now because there's no capitulation. There's none, and everybody's going through it. And it's going to be places like yours that people understand you have to just turn the lights on. Like you have to.
Right. Exactly. And, it's interesting. I've, there are those people. And I know that there will be a little bit of pushback, and that's okay. But overall, the solidarity in the music industry, and you're right, like what you said about the bands, they just want to play music. And so people are working together and making concessions for one another and compromising and the whole nine. So I'm really hoping, and I've had a ton of people ask me when I'm going to open and how much they miss Blue Jay. And so that's been a really nice just reminder, people are going to show up, and it'll all work out.
And I think most people want to do it safely. I know that there are some people who could give a crap, but I think most people want to do it safely. They want to be able to come to a place and not be like, I don't want to stand shoulder to shoulder with people. I don't care how much bravado you put on about, open up the state and I don't want to wear a damn mask. I think most people are going to be like, no, I want to go to a venue and not feel like, oh shit, I'm going to get sick in here and I'm going to get everybody else sick,
Right. And we're always clean. I mean, I have a tinge of OCD when it comes to that. And it's, it's spotless in there. However, we're taking it to the next level, hand sanitizer, masks, all of that. So I just want to create a comfortable environment for those people that are a little less, wanting to go out right now. I want them to be able to come and feel comfortable.
Because I would imagine that if all of a sudden, and this unfortunately it will happen, some places that aren't quite as meticulous as you, there's gonna be an infection and they're gonna have to shut down the bar, and then you're back where you were.
Or even worse.
Yeah.
So even now, I went to where did I go? I don't know. And whoever I was with, she said, Cara, I heard that somebody in your club had COVID. And I was like, huh? And she goes, yeah, somebody said, so I was told that one of your employees got COVID, and they said that they don't want to come back. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, A, nobody got COVID in my club.
Oh, no.
And B, that doesn't scientifically make sense at all. Like, why would you not want to come back because somebody got it? Whatever. Anyway, it's just the whole scenario is crazy, and we're just going to do whatever we possibly can to make people
that would be the lowest of the low thing to do. Like, spread some shit on the internet about somebody else's club and be like, dude, everybody got COVID who went to our club.
Oh, can you imagine? I know. I was like, ooh, let's talk about that, just so I can be like, head over to that podcast and I talk about that and how it's not true. So.
Oh man. So what I was going to ask it again, just sort of getting into some of the business sides of things, as you were navigating through this, were you able to take advantage of any type of loan deferment on your overhead? I mean, as a business owner, I was able to do a lot of those things and put a lot of those things in place, which was how we were able to really navigate that. What kinds of things were available to you to help navigate through that?
So I did not get a PPP loan.
Okay.
And I was able to get a small, I guess it was an SBA loan.
The EIDL.
Yes. And that was very helpful. Any little bit helped. I mean, I'm very lucky to have an absolute angel for a landlord. So I was never worried about rent. I mean, I know that eventually I'm going to have to pay this rent. Yeah. He never made me feel, he never pressured me into having, like, he would never have let the fall of Blue Jay be my rent check.
Right.
So he's wonderful. I basically went online and just Googled whatever possible loan, grant, there's a lot of things that were offered to women-owned businesses, music industry kind of stuff. And I basically just applied for everything I possibly could and did not get anything except for that, the stuff from the SBA.
Well, and the EIDL is not a bad one to get because they were very friendly repayment terms depending on how much you got. Now, did you get the small grant or did you actually get a full loan? And I'm not asking for the amount, but I'm just.
No, that's okay. I did not get a grant at all. It's just a loan.
Just the loan.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Like, I've been open since 2017, and it is. I don't want to say like I don't have money, but like, it's a small business and we are very, tight and and it is an interesting thing to look into your bank account and have money that actually isn't yours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like, it scares the hell out of me, to be completely honest. So
good. That's a great. I mean, look, we've been doing this for 19 years, and I mean, if we get two pennies to rub together, we're like, yes.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's a different thing. So I just have to remember. Oh yeah, Cara, you don't have to spend all that money.
Yeah.
So well, I'm still going to be, minding my P's and Q's, and obviously, I mean,
of course,
it was very, it was, it just allowed me to sleep at night.
Yeah, awesome. Well, a couple of the sort of the pivots that I've seen, I'm just curious as to where your thoughts are, particularly with streaming. So there's this great debate that I have with Micah Davidson, who owns a management company up here, entertainment management company up here, and we interviewed him on one of our previous episodes about streaming. Like, it's either you're in one camp or the other. It's the death, or it's possibly a new avenue. Have you put any thought into that for your establishment for Blue Jay as maybe another revenue stream?
Yes. I think I chatted a little bit with Anton and Billy about it. This is above my pay grade. I don't have any idea. We don't do video. Typically I'll live stream from my phone, but to be able to professionally do it and allow that to be also, ticketed, the quality has to be there. I'm not going to ask people to pay to join my Facebook live stream from my phone. I don't even think that's possible, but I am currently working with one of my sound guys has his own production company as well, and we've been talking about doing that. So I haven't quite figured out the details of that yet, but to answer your question, yes, I would love for that to be another option, for those people that either couldn't get in because we're at lower capacity, or maybe they're still social distancing, they don't want to go out, but they can still access it online
because I agree with two things you've said. One is that the smaller venues will have a better shot at opening earlier because they can control the environment. Yes, it's smaller capacity, but it like you said, I'd rather be one of 50 than one of 300 in a big space.
Exactly.
And then the second piece of it that I think is spot on is the exclusiveness of it. Is I'm now offering content that's live, it's different experience than sitting on your phone or sitting on the computer and watching it. And yet there's still a market for that continued stream process, and the people who will join from home. So I think that's awesome. It's neat to kind of see how the music industry is, moving. It's almost like the time when CDs were around and all of a sudden you could download music. Everybody freaked, the world is coming. And no, we're just adjusting. We're just
right. And right now, that's what we all have to do. I mean, we have to adjust, and it's like having a business without a Facebook page. Like that's not a thing. You have to have it, the live streaming in the music industry could potentially be something that saves the music industry. I do agree that it could potentially also go the other way. However, for a venue like mine, I sell out my venue. It's intimate, not small, and for people, I'm turning people away at the door because I'm at capacity. I can no longer sell any more tickets. So to be able to offer them to enjoy the music from the comfort of their home, I think is just, I hope will be another revenue stream, and also just spreading the word.
Well, I think that's a big thing too. Is David and I started talking about this when we first started being an actor in New York. The idea of Broadway reopening is not going to happen until next year for sure. But a lot of little theaters around the country have a better chance if you do smaller productions, do 1 and 2 and 3 person plays, limit your audience. But the idea of streaming, which came up from the beginning, like why not do a Broadway show, have 4 professional cameras inside a Broadway theater, stream it and have people pay for it. I'm a big proponent of no. Sets a very dangerous precedent for theater.
Yeah.
For live music venues, if I was able to if I was a person at this point who was a little nervous about going back out in public, and there's going to be a lot of people who are nervous about going back out in public.
Yeah.
If I was able to have friends over at my house and sit out on my back porch and have a big ass TV streaming what you're doing in your club, and you spend $80 for the night and you have all your friends kick in, but they're hearing live music and watching live music, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I absolutely agree. And I also think, it also adds to, I want to, damn, that looks cool. I want to go there. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I agree. I think that would be the difference in the theater and the music. That's you can't experience a theater any other way than in person.
Right.
So I do I do that now with festivals and such. We'll get a nugs.net is a really big. They stream all kinds of shit, and we will do exactly what you just said.
Yeah,
and it's
a great idea.
And it's so fun, yeah. So then hopefully all of those friends that you bring over will then want to buy tickets to Blue Jay and physically come in.
Exactly.
Well, and I think also what you're going to have is you're going to have a bunch of people who all of a sudden are a brand new production company.
Yeah.
People who have a few cameras and a few microphones all of a sudden go, oh shit, let's kick this into order, because a lot of places like you are going to need people who know what they're doing. And we got 3 kick-ass digital cameras. We have great microphones, and we're going to make this thing. Somebody's got to be a director and go to camera 2, go to camera 3. And if they know how to do it, you're going to pay them because you're going to increase your revenue tenfold. And that's going to, I'm a big believer that this whole thing is going to yield a tremendous amount of creativity on the other side of it. This entire time period is going to, yes, absolutely. And I really do. I absolutely think it's happening constantly. Dave and I started a podcast. We would have never done this in our whole lives.
I love it.
We wouldn't have, you know what I mean?
I love it. And I agree. I mean, and you can't, there's a venue in Gainesville, Florida called Heartwood Soundstage. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. They have phenomenal, I just am so envious in the best way that their video quality that they do, and they stream it. I have said since way before this, I'm like, I would pay to be at home, in Jacksonville and watch the stream. And it's because of the quality. It's because of the camera angles and the sound. And it's really, really beautiful. And so they've been doing that for a while. So I'm kind of looking to them like, hey, how do you do that?
You know what? You know what? Gators.
Some of them are Seminoles, I think. There are a few good guys in there.
So what do you think is going to be your access? This is a thought that just came to me just now, the access to exclusive talent. So meaning, maybe just an idea here, maybe this shot at the intimate setting is a perfect way for you to attract someone, not that they wouldn't want to play your venue, but someone who now understands that they can't play 1,000 cap room. Now they want to put on, a super exclusive show. Thoughts on, being able to attract super talent,
I'll be honest, I haven't really thought about that. And I love what you just said. That's wonderful. I think that, I definitely think that is, that there's potential for that. I struggle occasionally. I've had some really big names. And it's really, had you told me that Nathaniel Rateliff or Bernard Purdy or John Paul White was ever going to play Blue Jay, I would have been like, whatever, you're lying. And once they get in that room and they experience it, there's no, that's it. They're coming back. They love it. They think it's, the best thing ever. When I'm booking and I'm talking with agents and managers, it is a little bit of a challenge occasionally with the larger people when I tell them what my capacity is. They don't understand that people will pay a lot of money to see whoever, a bigger artist in a small space. They don't understand, just how special the room is. They haven't, I have a promotional video that I send, but to be able to have these live streams, I think, just as examples of what they could be doing, I think could definitely help pull those
I think you had that problem pre-COVID. I think after now, I think you can make that case pretty well, especially as you said, you've got the content to support it and to say, okay, here's the model. And yeah, tickets are $150 a ticket because you're coming in to see, XYZ. So yeah, interesting. Very cool.
I'm motivated to now just go out to all my Blue Sky artists and be like, you're not playing anywhere else, so.
All right.
Were you guys aware of what Bruce Springsteen was charging when he was doing his Broadway show?
No.
I can't even. Let me guess. Like $500 a ticket.
Twice that.
Holy crap!
So it was actually a big thing.
Wow.
Because when he announced Springsteen on Broadway, everyone went crazy. They're like, it's a 900-seat theater. He's doing a different show every night. Some nights Patty's going to be out there. Some nights the band's going to be there. Some nights it's just going to be him. You don't know. So people were just going crazy to see Bruce in an intimate space. A couple of nights he came out, didn't even plug in. It was just him and his guitar, and he sat on a stool, did not plug in, just sang. I know, and people were going crazy.
I would pee my pants. Like, that's so cool.
Well, if you get a chance to watch it, they recorded it. I think it's on Amazon or HBO, I think. But it's not the same as, obviously. But the problem was Bruce, the man of the people, the man of New Jersey, the man of the people, didn't do rush seats, didn't do a lottery, nothing. That guy was making $2 million a week in a 900-seat theater.
Ooh.
No discounted seats, no $20. Every show has a lottery. Hamilton has a lottery. Book of Mormon has a lottery. Everybody has a lottery.
Right.
And Bruce wouldn't do it. Bruce would not do it. And everyone was like, "Dude, you're freaking New Jersey. You're Bruce. You wear a T-shirt." And like, nope.
You don't need that $2 million a week, Bruce Springsteen.
But, yeah, what does he need $2 million a week for? I was like, you should sell every ticket for $50. Every ticket should be $50.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, ticket prices in general are it's nuts. Like just the amount of money that I have spent to see my favorite artists, and so it's funny to me when I do get those people that are like $30 to come in, and I'm just like, dude, like this is it could, because at Blue Jay you're paying for an experience, much like that what you just described that Bruce did. It's not just your average music venue. And I'm biased, but it's a completely different experience that you cannot get anywhere other than listening rooms. Plus my place is like really pretty.
Well, hey,
very well decorated.
Everybody complained about Bruce, but every single seat was sold.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how Whitney do it if you knew he was just going to sell them all out.
The average ticket price, and Hamilton has had the highest average ticket price of any Broadway show ever, and it's usually around $300, $350, which is insane.
That is.
Bruce's average ticket price was usually between $8 and $850. Average.
Golly. Dang.
Maybe one day people will pay that much to get into Blue Jay.
Hey, if Bruce came to the Blue Jay, it might be even more than that.
Well over $1,000 a ticket, I'm sure.
Cara, why Blue Jay?
Why the name? My grandmother, when she passed away, we had her funeral service outside on this beautiful lawn overlooking a lake, and there was a tree. And during who was talking, it was her Sunday school teacher. Her name was Shara, and she was talking about my grandmother, giving her, eulogy or whatever. And this Blue Jay flew out of the tree and just did loop-de-loops around everyone, and then flew back up into the tree.
Whoa.
And we all kind of like looked at each other like, did you see that? And she passed away unexpectedly. So we were all just kind of like, delirious and whatever. And the same Blue Jay did the exact same thing, flew out loop-de-loops around everybody 2 more times. And on the 3rd time, Shara, who was speaking, she said, "Okay, Sylvia, we know you're here."
Oh God! I got
on my grandmother was a Blue Jay.
Damn.
I'm so happy that's the story, because, and you won't believe this, and anybody who's listening, Cara and I have never met. I was sitting there hoping that was going to be the story, and the only reason why I said, my mother passed away about 1.5 years ago, and her mother, my grandmother, always visited her as a redbird. So every now and again you'd see a cardinal, and they're not very common, and they're also kind of dicks. Like they're not.
Or Blue Jays.
Or Blue Jays. Blue Jays are not very nice. But the cardinal has now turned into my grandmother and my mother, and every now and again they'll just check in. It's not like they come and they land on my windowsill or something stupid like that, but
they make themselves known. And yeah, I love that. I love the check-in. That's exactly how I feel as well. I don't see Blue Jays often. And so whenever I do, I'm like, yes, this is cool. Very cool. I love that. And it's so funny that now that I've actually have that story printed on the last page of our menus at Blue Jay. And when and it's like a freaking novel. I'm a talker. I'm just
love it.
But the fact that people take the time to read that, and more often than not, people do have similar stories to both of ours, and have those special little things that it's good juju. It's really good juju.
It is.
Yeah, that is awesome. Ooh, I got chills. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with the family theme, then you started as an entrepreneur, so that checked off my question. Are you an entrepreneur? With your mom and a retail store, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, my TV randomly just came on, and so I'm sitting here. I looked away because I was trying to just call my mom repeatedly. I'm at my mom's house to try to turn off the TV.
Grandma,
now that I'm talking about it, Mom, can you turn off the TV?
It's awesome.
I'm sorry, y'all.
It's fine.
I'm ignoring you. I'm over here like, oh my gosh. So,
last week we had a big dog that came on to set and was.
We were just talking about that too. Luckily, naked people in the background, but you might get more views that way. I don't know. But my mom and I owned a home decor and decorative accessory store called Sydney Cardell's, which actually, ironically, is my grandmother's pen name. And so that's why we named it that. And so we opened it and ran that for 8 years. I left, I think 6 years in, to do my own thing and open Blue Jay. So yeah, I'm still, I'm not bad at business.
Clearly not. No, some credit.
I having something with your mom and being able to rely on others was not the same when Blue Jay opened and it was all me. I had to learn a lot that I kind of ignored whenever my mom and I were both doing it together, So while it gave me a ton of really great experience, just in building a business, Blue Jay has been a reality check.
I was going to ask, what are some of the good lessons that you learned working with your mom that you applied as you were building and as you are building Blue Jay?
Me and my mom we're very similar. We're personable people. We could talk to a brick wall. However, in retail, I have learned a lot about just human interaction, saying hello within 15 seconds of somebody walking into your store. I say 10. I don't like 15. I think those extra 5 seconds are too long.
Yeah.
And remembering people's names. And, when someone leaves, you say, thank you for coming in, Matt. Those little things go such a long way. And I worked in the service industry, in high school and college, but never really as an adult. And so all of that within the retail really helped because it's equally as important, if not more important, the service industry. We want everybody who comes into Blue Jay. My bartenders are wonderful and they're so great at helping remember, names and helping everybody. And it's like you're a part of a family.
Yeah.
And that is what we always implemented in our store. So many people always were like, we just feel like we're just like a part of the family. And we're like, perfect. That's what we want everyone to feel like. So, and I think that's a rarity in the music industry. So I think that's one of the reasons that Blue Jay stands out, is just that I just want everyone to I don't want to be an asshole.
Oh, it's like
idea.
It's like your shirt. We still got to get your shirt printed up. something that I do that you made me think of when you said when someone is leaving that you make sure you say thank you for coming.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many times I will purchase something and I will walk out of the store going thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
You're saying thank you. Yeah.
I'm thanking you. I don't know. I do it out of just nervous. I don't know what else to do, but thanks.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 100%. That's like
weird.
You know, like when your server puts your food down and they're like, enjoy your meal. And you're like, thanks, you too. What? I do that often.
Right.
So no, just general good customer service is everything. And human interaction is everything, especially after a pandemic, I'm learning. So yeah, I think I've implemented a lot actually from my retail experience. And speaking of how pretty it all is, being merchandising and being in the retail industry, especially in the home, we did a lot of interior design, and so that aesthetically has helped me. Yeah.
So I want to touch on another point before we wrap up, and that is you said something in the podcast with Anton and Billy about this time is giving you time to almost separate yourself from Blue Jay, and that is it's an interesting entrepreneurial journey that I found myself in, having started a company, run a company, sold the company, bought the company back. So much of my person was in the company, and there over the years I've gotten to a point where I've been able to, like I think you're kind of experiencing, separate. Yes, my company is still that special baby, thing, and it's not who I am. So talk a little bit more about how you have gone through that journey, because I think that's a really important entrepreneurial journey because it's healthy. I guess that's where I'm getting to, is I think it's super, super healthy to be able to distance oneself from the endeavor that we've created. And it's healthy for the business, and I think it's healthy for the entrepreneur. So
it's hard.
Yeah. Oh, it's excruciating.
Yeah. I have just recently learned about this little thing called delegation. And it's so funny because I feel like in regular life and non-Blue Jay life, I'm not very, I'm pretty go with the flow. I am such a control freak when it comes to Blue Jay listening room. And I think that's another, I'm detail oriented in general, but specifically with Blue Jay. And it took me about 2 years to realize, Cara, not only can you not do everything yourself, other people are good at things that you actually might not, other people can do things better than you can even. You know what I mean? So that's
a tough pill to swallow sometimes.
I'm telling you, this whole thing, especially like I said before, especially during being quarantined and everything, the self-reflection has been key. I went through a really I opened my business and simultaneously went through a divorce. So I was in a very dark place, and then realized, like I think that's one of the reasons I was so unable to separate myself, because I just dove into Blue Jay and didn't do anything else. And it took me a really long time to be like, you know what, I'm going to take the night off tonight because I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Yeah. All of my friends have 9 to 5s. I work on the weekends, so I was feeling really, really lonely, and work-life balance is so important. If you're not doing it right, it's absolutely debilitating. And it took me being on the opposite side of that and being in such a dark place to realize, like, girlfriend, pick yourself up and do better. So yeah, this is a very recent thing for me, y'all. It sounds like I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I just realized all of this, and being able to separate Blue Jay, and realize it's not who I am. It's what I do. And if somebody leaves a bad review on Yelp, which is rare, but it has happened. That is not an attack on me or my character, even though the first like 2 times this happened, I was just like sobbing and just devastated because it's like, it's your baby.
Yeah.
So that also helped me separate. The fact that I was like losing sleep over like a freaking Yelp review is ridiculous. You know, like there's assholes everywhere. Everybody's got an opinion, and that's gonna happen. And so
and that jerk wipes out 6 people or 10 people that go, "Oh my gosh, Cara, this was the best experience I've ever had in the music. This night, I will remember this forever." And then you read the bad Yelp, you're like, "That mother!"
And that's all you can think about. Like, screw all these wonderful people that were saying the kindest things about you. All you can think about is this one freaking guy who didn't get his coffee on time, you know? And it's just like, Jesus Lord. So yes, it is so important. And it's everything. I think you can, following your dreams and opening your own business comes at a cost. But it's so worth it if you can navigate, how to also continue to live your freaking life.
Agreed.
That's awesome. Well, I think it's perfect timing. We're going to wrap up. Cara English, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I enjoyed this. This was so fun.
Everybody check out bluejaylisteningroom.com.
bluejayjacks.com.
bluejayjacks.com. I got one job, and it's to say your freaking URL right.
All right.
So thank you so much. Check it out, especially if you're coming through Jacksonville and any of your travels. I hear there's like 1 million people going to Florida this summer. So stop in Jacksonville and get one of the 50 tickets one night at the Blue Jay.
Yeah.
All right, Matt Stocke, we're going to close the show. You good?
Congratulations, Cara. Awesome. Good luck with it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, here we go. Closing the show.